Hello everyone, it's the Ranter, and today I'm going to be talking about Tiamat. And the main reason why I'm talking about Tiamat is most of you guys that are playing Tiamat is missing one crucial thing that I think needs to be utilized. Now, basically Tiamat is a commander where you'll basically slam down Tiamat when you have the mana. So your deck is going to ramp there as quickly as possible to start a Dragon Gangbang. And you could use the 5 Baldur's Gate dragons and slam face with big dragons. But you know what is even more upsetting to other players than just ramping a ton, slamming down a Tiamat, and hitting face, and basically be a counterspell check? If you don't counterspell this, or if you don't have counterspells because you're not running blue, you're gonna hate what I'm gonna say next. Because Tiamat says search up for 5 dragons that are not named Tiamat, which this is commander, so that's no problem. So we have the classical ramp package with signets and some talismans and all that, so just to get them out. And we have some specialty dragons, which I will talk about in a bit, but majorly is the Jund. Now, decks on EDA Trek have him in deck lists, which is great and all, because he can give all your dragon creatures you control have haste. And when he enters the battlefield, gain control of all dragons and untap them. So, I believe, from what I could see on EDA Trek, no one really cares about this effect of gain control of all dragons, because you're not going to be playing against another deck with dragons, and if you do, it's not reliable. But there's a card that can help us a ton. And it would be Shield of Bale's Veil. If you are a Sliver associate, you may know this card by you can create target player gains. Creatures that target player controls gets 0/1 and gains all creature types until the end of the turn. Oh, fantastic. We can give every creature type. But wait a minute. There's something special about this. Dragon is a creature type, and yes, it is. Now, why is the Jund Dragon not running this? Well, the simple reason is Jund Dragon, you can't run it in that. It has white, and you're Jund. But in Tiamat, you can grab this Jund Dragon and this spell. But wait a minute, the spell's not a dragon. Au contraire, if you were paying attention and looking at this card, Changeling. This card has every creature type. That means you can grab this with Tiamat. So you can proceed to pick the player at the table who has the most creatures. Give them all creature type and 0+1 because you're just such a nice fella. And then take all the creatures for yourself, and yes, they all have haste. So, what is worse than a Tiamat gangbang of big dragons? Having a dragon steal all your creatures to your side of the field, and I do not see enough Tiamat decks doing it. So if you think Tiamat is not really fun to play against if you're not a counterspell deck, well, I think you guys need to break out the Tiamat deck and showcase this little combo that is guaranteed to go off basically, because all you do is play an instant, which, if unless you have a counterspell, you can't do anything. And then you play Jund, the dragon, and it takes it all. And yes, you can't really, removal doesn't do anything about it, so it has to be counterspells. I really think you Tiamat players should be doing this. But if that wasn't enough for the 2 cards that we are getting from this Tiamat, we're also going to slam down a Scorn of the Draco. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But it will give the entire board Vigilance, Hexproof, Lifelink, First Strike, or Trample depending on its color. Now, we're going to gain a lot of creatures, so maybe they might get some nice keywords. On top of that, the third creature we kind of would like to get is Earthquake Dragon, by the mere fact that its X cost gets cheaper for the total mana value of dragons you control. So this easily, with having your commander and the Tyrant of the Jund on the field, you can cast this for 1 green mana. 1 green mana, Flying Trample. 10/10. That's just stellar as it is. And the other card we would want to get is this Dragon Shaman. Now, if you have the Dragon Shaman on the field, after we grab Tiamat, we are going to cast an Adventure Spell or a Dragon Spell, which is going to be Dragon Spell in this deck, and it's going to deal damage equal to that spell's converted mana cost. That is in your commander, which isn't a problem because if we're getting this card, we are playing Tiamat first and then getting this card. So, an ideal 5 cards that you'd go with is the Jund Dragon, the Enabler, that allows you to steal everything with your Jund Dragon, and then a Dragon's Legacy with 2 big mana values with Earthquake Dragon and Scorn of the Draco. 12 mana and 15 mana to the face if you so want. Now, if that wasn't enough, if you draw any of these cards just because you drew them, well, that's okay. We can get normal Draco, which is not a very great card, to be honest, by itself. A 9/9 flying for, yes, we're going to have all basic land types on the field, so it's cheaper. So 6 mana. 6 mana for a flyer that's 9/9, not that great. But if it's a 9/9, that when I'm playing it, it does 16 damage to the face because of Dragon's Legacy, that's going to be pretty good. The other option is giving our dragons double strike, or just doubling up our dragons. And these are also very decent options to be grabbing with Tiamat. Now, I run some artifact synergies to make our artifacts cost 1 less, and Joyra to take advantage of legendary spells and a ton of artifacts. As I showcased in the little beginning, this deck has 27 of them. Quite a bit of amount of artifacts, but it's justified because we are here to do one thing: press the Tiamat button and proceed to steal your entire board. Now, there is also some little other options, some removal packages, destroy creatures, get rid of permanents and enchantments and etc. Counter spells, just to make sure. You may need to keep Tiamat, because if you do run against a counter spell player, he is not going to like what you're going to be doing. Now, with that, we have some sorceries as well, which they're just basically the standard ramp package of get more mana, cast Tiamat, get more mana, cast Tiamat. That's what we're here to do. So, the deck is pretty simple, but what's so special about this is a radio announcement or a announcement going old school with that, but that's basically telling you guys need to play this card with this card in your Tiamat decks. If you are not, you are missing out on a lovely experience for yourself, not for your opponent though, of it's all mine now. It's all mine. So, that will be it for this deck tech. There is basically a budget land package of a different swordsman's lands. You can check out the deck list below, and the cost of the deck comes about $78. You can get it cheaper if you cut a few cards or not, but this is basically what I would go with. The talismans can be changed out if you feel like some of these particular talismans are too expensive, and I don't like how Wizards of the Coast doesn't reprint these properly or do a very good job. But yes. So, have a great day, and hopefully I get to see you in another video.